Hey guys, it's me. Um, so today I want to talk about something that I see a lot on paintball forums, PB Nation, Reddit, all that stuff, and I want to address the question: Is paintball dying? Absolutely not. No. You see, what I think some people mean when they say paintball is dying is that they mean it's changing. And or maybe they think just a certain portion of their paintball experience is becoming less popular. And, maybe that's true to some extent, but no, I don't think it's dying. So some of you guys, in fact, a lot of you guys probably saw the Bloomberg article. I think it was Bloomberg last December talking about how paintball is dying, and honestly, they just included a lot of numbers. Okay? Numbers, they're not relevant here. They don't make much of a difference. I mean, sure, we lost some players, 2008 up to now. But if we're going by statistics, numbers are showing that those numbers playing paintball, the amount of people playing paintball, steadily going up. Okay, it's going up. But how can we keep paintball from dying? Well, that's another thing I want to talk about. I'm going to give you some ways to keep paintball from dying. I mean, it's not going to die, but how do we grow the sport? How do we keep paintball relevant? I mean, well, first thing is you want to put a lot of emphasis on the youth of the sport. We want to get young people into the sport because they're the future of it. I mean, plain and simple, they are the future of the sport. And I really like when JT came out with their Splatmaster series, the Z2000, now I can't remember the pistol name, but when they did that, that's a really good effort to get young people into the sport because, I mean, it's ready to go out of the box. You don't need any air, any batteries. It's spring action, and so that's very little materials. Availability, you can get them in like Walmart for $40. I mean, that's good. Of course, there's still the special paint you gotta get. It's 50 caliber, and that's something. But it's a huge step to getting young people into the sport because you don't go straight to the 68 caliber. You don't have to deal with that. You can just start with the single action spring loaded or spring whatever. The spring guns, just target practice, just go outside, shoot your friends up, and that's a good time. That's several good fun friend outings. Pretty low cost. You don't even have to get into paintball to play with them. You can just play with them. A couple of your buddies go outside and shoot each other up. So I really like what JT did there. It's a really good initiative. But some other ways to get young people into the sport. Let's remember how we got into paintball. Me personally, my first time going paintball was about 5 or 6 years ago at a friend's birthday party. And I just remember I was 9 or 10 years old. I'm 15 now. And I just remember it was me, my neighbor, he's my friend, and then 3 or 4 of his friends. We went out, and I just remember the first time the buzzer sounded, just that instant rush of adrenaline. I mean, just, and then I was ready to go. Okay, I was going with one of my friend's friends, and he kept me alive, but that was, I couldn't stop talking about it to all my friends. I was telling them about how cool it was, I saw this guy get shot like in the nuts or something, but I didn't tell them about that because I don't know. But I mean that is the key to growing the sport is you want to get people talking about it. I mean, not negatively, when you invite somebody to go paintballing for the first time, and you make sure that, if they have an enjoyable experience, they're going to go tell people about it. They're going to tell people about the great time they had playing paintball, and that's what we need. That's only good. That's only good for us. What else we got here? Another thing that we can do to get young people into the sport is that we don't put so much emphasis on the gun. Like Mike from Tech PB said, gun's only about 20% of your performance or so. I think, yeah, and the 80% is the person. Let's think about it. I've seen... Okay, here's a real-life example. I remember I was scared of this guy. I was still relatively new to paintballing, but every time I went, I would see this kid, probably 16 or 17, and he had an Empire axe, a Spire, all this scary-looking equipment and stuff. And then I would always piss my pants when I heard him go, brrr, shooting at me. He would always keep me pinned down, suppressed, and I was just scared to be around him on the field. But then I talked to one of the older guys. I think he even worked there too, and he talked me out. He's like, if you look at how he actually plays, he just sits in the back and wastes paint. And then that next game, I watched him, and he was right. He just sat in the back and wasted paint. So I'm like, wait, this dude isn't doing anything. He's not going to get me out. What am I scared of? And so then I kept moving up because, he sucked, and I eventually got him out. His fancy, shiny equipment, his scary equipment, didn't really make much of a difference for him. It's how you use it. But when the newer players see us put so much emphasis on what equipment we use, it really kind of it makes them feel powerless. Chances are they're going to have rental guns, and so they're going to feel like they can't be as good as us. They can't have as good a time playing because they don't have the right equipment. You got a tank, marker, paint, mask, of course, safety. You can play paintball. You don't need some $1,500 Planet Eclipse, top of the line hopper, ninja tank, brand new HK Army pants. You don't need all that. A rental gun does what is necessary. Shoots a paintball. That paintball will land somewhere. If it lands on a person, gets them out. Same thing as a $1,500 tournament gun. Which kind of brings me to my next point. Tournament paintball, don't get me wrong, I like watching. I enjoy tournament paintball, but tournament paintball is not the way to grow the sport. Sorry. When people see tournament paintball, yeah, they're outsiders, that is. They're not looking at it from a person who enjoys the sport's perspective. They're looking at it as an outsider, and they just see same thing over and over again. And even then, if somebody does choose a tournament player as a role model, that's just teaching them what we were talking about earlier. That puts a lot of emphasis on less on strategy, more on just equipment and all out, slinging 3 cases of paint in one day. That's not good, because eventually they're just going to get, third year playing, they're just going to get burned out because they think that's all paintball is just equipment and, just being as aggressive as possible. No, there's especially in woods ball, rec ball, there's a lot more strategy involved. In fact, that's what hooked me in was I really liked the strategy of it. I liked planning. I liked working as a team. That really looped me in. What else we got here? But yeah, what I think, what brings people into the sport is those big scenario games. That's what's going to keep the game fresh. That's what's going to keep the game interesting. That's one of the big things, is those big old scenario games. I'm going to Oklahoma D-Day this summer, 2016. That's what I think people should see when they decide that they want to get into paintballs. A couple thousand people just having a good time. That's all paintball should be, is just having a good time. I mean, that's what's going to get people to come back if they're just. You get the idea. With those big scenario games, that's crucial to growing paintball. That's crucial to keeping the game fresh. I mean, what would we do without them? What else? So, here's some of the reasons that people think paintball are dying. There was that Bloomberg article that I mentioned at the beginning. And then there's kind of the, it's not really taboo, but the sort of hostility towards firearms in the U.S., and that's a whole different story, but we need to stop focusing. I mean, it's not the gun that's dangerous. Honestly, it's the player that's dangerous. Like if you're one of those players, that you play in tournaments and stuff, and then you're gonna go up and bunker little kids and just bonus shots, bonus shots, bonus shots. They're just gonna say, "Oh, this asshole, he just shot me up," and even though I was already out, those guys are assholes. I hate paintball. No, I mean you need to be supportive of them. But yeah, we don't want that to be the image of a paintball player. I mean, because honestly, paintball for the most part does have a pretty good player base. I mean, we're all really, a lot of us are looking for the same thing, just that rush of adrenaline. It's just pure fun. That's all. It's just pure fun, and that's what a lot of people don't see. Unfortunately, they see bruises, welts, little kids getting shot at by middle-aged men who have nothing better to do, I guess. I don't know. And then they see, those videos of people who hop in cars and, just do drive-bys on, like, pedestrians and stuff. We don't want that to be the image, okay? We can't expect to get people into the sport if we're a bunch of dickwads. I mean, straight up. Just, yeah, I mean, help out new players. I remember there was this one kid who was scared to death because he was pinned down, and so I ran over there, and I helped him out. Like, he was almost out of paint, so he thought he was dead for sure, and so I gave him some of my paint, and I talked to him. I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to get out of this. And so I just talked him through it, calmed him down, and we got out of there, and we won the game. It was a rec ball game. We won. And so that's what you want to do. You want to help out new players. Let them try out your gun. I mean, show them how fun paintball is. Show them what a good time it is. Don't just say, like, you don't have to have expensive equipment to play. I can't emphasize on that enough. I mean, that's what some people think is holding them back. They see these guys, tourney players. Some guys are just trying to have, like, an office party or something, guys and gals. And this tourney player comes, he's way too aggressive, he just ruins everything for them. I mean, if you're one of those people and you're up against people that, they probably haven't played as long, I mean, and they think that, I mean, at face value, they're going to think it's the gun that makes you good if you are a good player. And so what I recommend is maybe go easy. If you're up against a whole bunch of kids, you don't have to let them get you out, but like, just don't be so aggressive, just calm down a little bit. I mean, they're out there for the same reason. They just want to have a good time. And, maybe just a little bit more consideration towards them. It'd really help the sport. It'd help the sport grow. What else? Yeah, so we got the attitude. Yeah, let's talk about attitude. I mean, you asked me, I don't know, maybe even a year ago. It's like, is paintball dying? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's not what it used to be, But paintball's changing. It's a changing sport. It will take its dips, and they'll come back up, and then maybe it'll take some dips, come back up. Paintball's not going anywhere. Okay? There's no other sport like paintball. None. Paintball is unique. Okay? It is unique. Nothing else like it in the world. That's all it comes down to. But if you keep saying, oh, paintball's dead, I mean, I don't know how much longer it's got. I mean, it's on its deathbed. It's on life support. I mean, stop. that doesn't allow room for growth. I mean, if you're so negative Nancy all the time, that's what people are gonna see. They're gonna see all these doomsday sayers, oh, paintball's doomed. Oh my God, no. They're not gonna want to get into it. I mean, we need to get in touch with why we play paintball. We play it for the adrenaline rush. I mean, it's fun. You shoot your friends with paint. And then you can talk about, that awesome leg shot you got on your coworker or whatever. And that, you take your office out to go paintball in one weekend, they're going to be talking about the whole week. I mean, that's a fun time. Just 2, 3, 4 hours just shooting each other up. I mean, rental guns. It's a fun time. There's nothing else like it. But yeah, I mean, you just gotta stay positive because think about it. I mean, you got companies like HK Army, for example. I mean, really, they started out with nothing, but they kept positive attitude. They brought a new element to the paintball industry, and they got that youth. I don't know, youthful is kind of a weird word in this situation, but the new kind of just that image of HK Army. It's just adventurous, fun. It's companies like that are going to keep the sport alive forever. The innovators in the image of paintball, they're the ones who are going to keep it alive. I mean, we need more stuff like that, that. And then Zalkan, too. I mean, they started out with very little too, but they kept the positive attitude. Now they're a big contributor to the entry-level paintball industry. I mean, really. And A&S Gear, too. Just a tiny little store. It's now the biggest retailer in paintball. They're the big guys. And why? They kept the positive attitude, thinking, paintball's dead, let's just give up. No, they said, this is what we like to do. We like to play paintball. We're going to help other people like to play paintball. We're going to help them find the joy in playing paintball. Because there's a lot of it. I mean, like I said, there's nothing else like it. Our sport is unique, What else? Hold on, I'm sorry. Yeah, another thing is we should expand entry-level market. I mean, I may be getting a little ahead of myself, but I mean, entry-level, people, if we make the entry-level market more affordable, better, like I said earlier, JT Splatmaster, that's a great example. That's going to help a lot of people get into the sport. It'll feel like they're not as helpless. It won't just be rental guns and tourney guns. It'll, you get it. What else we got here? I didn't emphasize on the gun part enough, the safety part, that is. And a lot of the reasons parents look down on paintball and paintball players is they see it as, like I said, just bruises, welts, sprained ankles sometimes. I mean, it's the player, not the gun. It's the play. The gun, the worst the gun will do, stings for a couple seconds, little pink spot, done. That's it. I mean, the biggest danger is stuff you can do every day. Sprain your ankle, fall, trip. Paintball gun isn't doing any of that. Honestly. I mean, that's the most dangerous part of it. As long as you're following all the safety regulations, wearing your mask. Mask is so important. You're not running around butt-ass naked. You're going to be fine. If you're watching out for yourself, you're following the rules, you're going to be fine. That's all there is to it. You're going to have a great time. But yeah, we need to encourage new people to get into the sport. I'm on a high school swim team. I'm taking my swim team out next month to play some paintball. I mean, that's not even to try to get them into the sport. That's just because paintball's fun. That's just because we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna bond. You just gotta support growth, and you don't do that by saying, "Oh, paintball's dead. Why do that?" No, that limits you. That limits the sport's growth when you do that. We need to focus. All right, focus on the positive things. You just remember, there's nothing else like paintball. Paintball's not going anywhere, ever. It will always be around. And so that's why I'm sick and tired of people going, oh, paintball's dead. It's just 5 million to 3.5 million because that's what, Bloomberg says and stuff, So paintball's dead. No, it isn't. I mean, it'll change. It will change. Paintball is a dynamic sport. But it'll always be here. It'll always be paintball. It'll always be paintball. What else? So yeah, we got I'll just edit this out. But I think GI Sports did it was kind of a promotion of their mask, just a little bit.